Medicare is so confusing, and that's why it's so easy to make mistakes. I can't tell you how many phone calls we get from new clients who are frustrated and pretty stressed out that they picked the wrong plan during the AEP. So let's go over those 5 most common mistakes so you can learn how to avoid them. Now, although original Medicare really doesn't cover prescription drugs, except with some very limited exceptions such as chemotherapy, injections received in a doctor's office, some oral anti-cancer medications, insulin if it's administered by a pump, etc., many Medicare Advantage plans actually do offer prescription drug coverage, and it's very important that you don't sleep on this very important benefit.
So on Medicare.gov, you click Find Health and Drug Plans. We're going to be looking at coverage for 2025. Let's put in a North Carolina zip code. We're looking at Medicare Advantage Part C plans. If you were looking at just strictly prescription drug, then that would be Part D. Do you get help with your Medicare health or drug costs? So if you did get help with Medicaid, Supplemental Security Income, Medicare Savings Program, or extra help, that's really just for Part D, then you would click that. If you do get help with Medicaid, then you would be eligible for a D-SNP, but we're going to put I don't get help from any of these programs. Do you want to see your drug costs when you compare plans? Absolutely. Okay, let's put in a couple of drug costs. Add drug. Let's add another drug. Okay, and let's try one more drug. Okay, that should do. Done adding drugs. We're going to put in some pharmacies. I always make sure to include mail order pharmacy. Very often you'll find that it's less expensive, although not always the case. We'll add a CVS, Harris Teeter, Walgreens. I don't know what this is. Quality of life? Sure, why not? Okay. So now it's showing us 57 Medicare Advantage plans. That being said, I really, really want you to make sure that it does include drug coverage. So click over here, drug coverage. We're going to click includes drug coverage, apply. And now we're down to 44 plans. Scroll on down. Okay, so if we're talking about just looking at those prescription drug costs, you'll see here, so this plan has a $0 monthly premium, a $420 drug deductible, which is separate from the health deductible, but still in all, your yearly estimated costs with premium and drug are $0. So that's going to mean that all of our drugs are covered, and I'm going to assume they're probably a tier 1 generic drug since we put in all generics. Let's see. Also, $0, $420 drug deductible. Now, the reason that you're seeing $420 drug deductible, but still a $0 yearly cost, it's likely that these drugs are, like I said, a tier 1 or maybe even a tier 2 drug. And usually those lower tier drugs are covered even prior to meeting the deductible. So let's take a look at the plan details. We're going to scroll down to the prescription drugs. Actually here. Okay, prescription drugs. So let's take a look. So 4 out of 5 of the pharmacies that we put in are covered. That quality of life one that I was unfamiliar with is not covered. So if you do need to shop at that pharmacy for some reason, those costs are going to be way, way more. Let's take a look. I'm going to scroll down. Yeah, you won't even meet your deductible because these are all have no copay associated. And again, I'm going to assume that that is because they are lower tier medications. We click view more drug coverage. Let's see. Okay. So yeah, so the first 2 tiers of this plan, and the last tier because this is a plan that has select care drugs. Okay, so there's 3 tiers here that have no copay, a preferred generic, a generic, and select care drug. So I'm not sure. Okay. So one of the medications is tier 2, which is just a regular generic. One of them is tier 1, a preferred generic, and one of them is tier 6, that select care drug. So even though they're on different tiers, they all have no copay, and you wouldn't even have to worry about your deductible. Now, that being said, of course, if you did take a different medication that fell under one of these tiers, a preferred brand, non-preferred brand, or specialty tier, then you would have to meet the deductible, and then you would have some type of copay after meeting the deductible. However, with all the plans, if you do end up in the catastrophic coverage phase, because there is no more donut hole, remember, you would have no more copay. And that is now capped at $2,000 for covered medications. If you're taking a medication that isn't on your plan's formulary, then you're going to have to pay the full amount out of pocket, and it's not going to count towards pushing you towards catastrophic coverage.
Now, speaking of additional benefits, you may notice that many Medicare Advantage plans offer many additional benefits not offered by Original Medicare. But please don't be taken in by these additional benefits.
So back over on Medicare.gov, you'll see on the right-hand side of the screen, there's a quick snapshot of some of the plan benefits. These are basically just some of the most common benefits like vision, dental, hearing, transportation, fitness benefits, worldwide emergency, telehealth, over-the-counter drugs. So if there's a green check mark, that means it's covered. If there's a red X, like for in-home support, home safety devices and modifications, and emergency response devices, then obviously those won't be covered. And like I said, those are really just sort of the most common benefits. Now, if you do click again on where it says plan details, you could click over here on extra benefits, and it'll take you to what the copays or coinsurance or limits might be for those benefits. So for example, hearing, for this plan, it's a $0 copay if it's in-network, 40% coinsurance if it's out-of-network, because we're looking at a PPO plan, which gives you coverage in and out-of-network. More on that later in the video. Then this plan also offers dental, and it's a good thing that this plan does offer PPO coverage because especially with dental, that's very, very important to have all of that flexibility. You want to make sure that you have a dentist that you like and you feel comfortable with and covers vision as well. Now, the reason I say that you don't want to focus too much on these types of benefits is because, yes, it's wonderful to have vision and hearing and dental and fitness benefits, but really, these are the important benefits here. And these are the things that you don't want to take for granted. And you'll see here that you have a primary doctor visit, $0 copay, out-of-network, $25. So that is very helpful. Again, we're looking at a PPO, which does give you more flexibility. With Medicare Advantage in general, there's the issue of pre-authorization. And that's going to see here where it says limits apply. And you're going to see that for every single benefit, pretty much. Advanced plan approval required. That means pre-authorization, a process through which the physician or other healthcare provider is required to obtain advance approval from the plan that payment will be made for a service. So you cannot get whatever service or treatment, medication, whatever, without your plan approving it in addition to your doctor. So even though you have that extra flexibility from PPO as opposed to HMO, there's still this issue of pre-authorization. Additionally, there's some other issues with Medicare Advantage plans. There can be issues, when we talk about out-of-pocket maximums and things like that. You want to make sure that you're not trading off hearing benefits and vision benefits for a very, very high out-of-pocket maximum or very, very high coinsurance for something like, let me see if we can find it here. For something like chemotherapy. With Original Medicare alone, you'd be looking at 20% for chemotherapy, which can be thousands and thousands of dollars, quite frankly. So if you are going to go with a Medicare Advantage plan, you want to take a look and make sure that some of those more expensive services are covered at a more reasonable rate. So let's see here. So dialysis, 20% coinsurance. Yeah, all the way down here when you see chemotherapy. So it could range somewhere between 0 to 20% coinsurance, which is very tricky. You don't know whether it's going to be 5% or if it's going to be free or if it's going to be 20%. And out of network, it could go all the way up to 45%, and that could be financially devastating. So please make sure you're looking at some of these, what I would consider to be more important benefits as opposed to focusing on those extra benefits offered by the plan.
Now a brief pause. If you like what you're seeing, and we hope you do, please make sure to click like. It really helps us to get this video out there, and of course make sure to subscribe to stay up to date. Now if you have questions about Medicare Advantage, Medicare, health insurance in general, you can reach us in the comments below. If there's any mistakes you've made and you want to let other people know not to make those mistakes, please let us know there. And of course you can always reach us at the number on the screen. We are licensed health insurance brokers. We're licensed nationwide, and there is absolutely no charge for our services. And as a bonus, that would be a mistake, not using a broker during the AEP. All right, let's get back to it. Another mistake would be to choose an HMO over a PPO. I really can't stress this enough. PPOs will give you so much more flexibility. Now, very often HMOs will have lower monthly premiums, and with Medicare Advantage plans, that's actually not very uncommon at all. You can find many plans that offer no additional monthly premium. You just have to continue to pay for your Medicare Part B, HMOs and PPOs alike. So very often HMOs will try to entice beneficiaries with those extra benefits, which, as I already mentioned, you shouldn't be taken in by just those extra benefits alone. But HMOs and PPOs are very different. So HMOs, although usually, as I said, will have lower monthly premiums, they have much less flexibility. So you need to have a PCP, which is a primary care physician. If you want to see a specialist, you need referrals from that PCP, which can definitely be an extra hoop to jump through. Additionally, there's coverage only in network, except in the case of a true medical emergency. So if you do need to go outside of your network, maybe there's a specialist that you really want to see, you would have to pay the full extent of the bill. PPOs, on the flip side, will afford you much more flexibility. You don't need a referral to see a specialist, and you don't need a PCP, and additionally, you will have coverage in and out of network, although usually those out-of-network costs will be more expensive. Please bear in mind that although PPOs will offer you more flexibility, all Medicare Advantage plans are managed care plans, which means you will need pre-authorization regardless of whether you choose an HMO or a PPO. Now on to one of the biggest mistakes you can make during the AEP, which is not reviewing your options. It's very easy to just stick with the health insurance plan you had last year, especially when you're used to group health insurance that you may have had through your employer. It's unlikely that you've had many new decisions to make on a yearly basis, and that's just not the case with Medicare Advantage. Every year, there are new plans offered that may offer you better benefits, more tailored to meet your needs. Additionally, the terms of your plan may change drastically. For example, there could be changes in costs like your premiums, deductibles, copays and coinsurance, and out-of-pocket maximum. There could be changes in networks. They could be growing or shrinking. Your doctor may no longer be in network. There could be changes in the services and benefits covered. And of course, there can also be changes to your prescription drug coverage. So please make sure to review your options thoroughly every year during the AEP. Even if your plan worked great for you last year, as I said, your plan may have changed drastically, or there may be a better plan available. And of course, no matter how great you think your plan is, if your doctor is no longer accepting your plan, then it's not going to serve you. So please make sure you speak with your doctor. The truth of the matter is, although many Medicare Advantage plans have just gotten so much more popular in recent years, they haven't gotten more popular with doctors and hospitals, and as a result, many doctors and hospitals are actually choosing to end their contracts with many Medicare Advantage plans. We do have a video all about that, and I'm going to link it at the end of the video. So there have been increasing issues with pre-authorization and with issues of payment to the hospitals and doctors. So as a result, many are choosing to cut ties with their Medicare Advantage plans. It's very important that you find out from your doctor if they are planning to cut ties with your plan, because if that's the case, then you definitely may want to switch plans. Now, it's highly likely that if this is the case, you should have received a letter from your doctor's office, but even if not, it's still a good idea to broach the topic with your doctor's office just to make sure. But there's a little bit of a caveat here. Even if your doctor is planning to continue their contract with that Medicare Advantage plan, they can choose to end that contract pretty much at any time. So unfortunately, even if you enroll in a Medicare Advantage plan, knowing that your doctor accepts it, your doctor could choose to stop accepting it during some point of your plan's year. And unfortunately, that doesn't qualify as a qualifying life event, which would make you eligible for a special enrollment period. You would have to stay with that Medicare Advantage plan until the next AEP. Now, if you want to learn more about why so many doctors and hospitals are choosing to end their contracts with Medicare Advantage, I highly recommend that you check out this video over here. Also, if you want to learn more about Medicare in general, make sure to check out our All About Medicare playlist. As always, please make sure to like and subscribe before you go, and if you have questions, you can reach us in the comments below or at the number on the screen. As always, there's absolutely no charge for our services. Have a wonderful day, and thank you for watching. Bye-bye.